Maybe I got too much stuff open. Let me see if I can start closing down some stuff. Here we Talk. It is to answer all things hair growth session. For any questions you guys have, hi Instagram. There have been that I have not been able to answer. So tonight I just never for them. I'm still going to try to get to everybody's talk as well as in my D. Give me a while to get to them, and I just want all of them. So if you guys have any questions, anything questions, people were asking to reverse that one on well as so if you see me looking back, reversing your attractionality of whatever was, then you other things, because if the root cause is still going to be an issue, then you're going to continue to have the hair growth because you didn't fix the initial issue. Then after that, you want to make sure that your strands are moisturized from the inside out. That means that you're getting in plenty of water, and you're keeping them moisturized on a daily basis. Then you want to make sure that you're getting the proper nutrients. Your cells, your scalp produces new strands by cells regenerating in your hair bulb at the base of your hair follicle. And if those cells do not have the proper nutrients, then you are not going to be able to grow any new strands. And then you want to make sure you have plenty of protein in your diet. You want to make sure that you're using strengthening techniques and all green products. Another question that was the number one question is, how do I know if a product... Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, China? How do I know if a product is a green product? So there's a website called curlybot.com, which I don't know if the lady who used to run it back in the day still runs it, but the site still works. And so what you do is you go to curlybot.com, and then you look at whatever product you're thinking about using, take those ingredients, put it in curlybot.com, and it will give you a list of any ingredients in there that may be bad. And the best ingredients are green. That means they're good. They're not going to damage your hair. They're not going to stress anything out. If they're yellow, that means there's something in there that's caution. And if they're red, don't put it in your hair whatsoever. And so when you're trying to reverse your tracking alopecia, you have damaged strands, you only want to use green products. If the products are yellow or red, stay away from them until your strands get stronger, because strong strands do not fall out and strong strands do not break. But if they're weak, then they are. And so you want to just make sure that you're doing the best thing that you can for them at all times. Let me see. So when you put your hair in water and it floats to the top, that means that you have low porosity hair. And so low porosity hair it doesn't let water into your strand easily. And so that means you have to, when you have low porosity hair, your cuticles basically sit like on your hair, like towels on the roof. And so they're not going to let water in. So you have to do things to help them open up to allow that moisture in. And that's basically with indirect heat. You don't want to put any direct heat like a hair dryer or sitting on a dryer when your strands are damaged. Yes, I'll repeat that, Queen. You want to use like a conditioning cap and use the heat from your scalp and steam in order to help them open up. And then when you're in the shower, you want to use perfect warm water, not hot water, because when you put hot water on your low porosity hair, it kind of shocks your cuticle open and then it causes extra frizz. Perfect warm water. Don't rinse it cool because that'll make them shut down. Perfect warm water the entire time. And then when you get out, you're going to use the LCO method. You're going to use the leave-in you're going to use a cream, and you're going to use an oil afterwards in order to seal in your moisture. Make sure they're all green products, and that should help you retain moisture a lot better. So the steps that I said for reversing your traction alopecia and growing back your hair is making sure that you get the root cause. If you don't have my root cause analysis, DM me, and I'll DM me your email, and I'll send it right over. You want to make sure that they're moisturized on the inside and out. You want to use strengthening techniques. You want to use all good products. What else did I say? I think that was pretty much it, all that I said. Oh, and you want to make sure that you have the proper nutrients, including protein, because your strands are produced by your cells in the hair bulb regenerating. And so if they're not getting proper nutrients, they're not going to regenerate to produce new strands. So if you are having excessive shedding, you need to figure out the cause. Most of the time, what I have found is there's some type of inflammatory process going on inside of your body. The thing that you can do external to help yourself is you could use a black tea rinse. Just go get black tea. If you have high porosity hair, you want to put it on as your leave-in. And then you want to put aloe on it to help close down the cuticles around it. But you really should figure out what the cause of the shedding is, because if it's internal, then you want to get on like an anti-inflammatory diet. I've mentioned this a couple of days now in a row because I've been going live for a minute. You're welcome, Queen. I've been going live for a second, but on that show, Undercover Billionaire, Timbaland's ex-wife was on there, and she has some anti-inflammatory shots that she's selling because she had a lot of inflammation in her body, and she started with those shots. It was like turmeric and cherry and something else. She gave the recipe on the episode, but within 2 months, she said that like her inflammation cleared up. So you want to start on an anti-inflammatory diet, and then you want to use a black tea rinse to help strengthen the strands and stop them from shedding immediately. And you want to always make sure they're moisturized and use low manipulation styles to make sure that they stay longer. So I don't really like to recommend products for people because there is no blanket product for people. Because it just depends on you and your hair and what your hair likes. I also don't recommend going out and buying all these new and different products to try to start seeing if it's going to work on your hair. I recommend you start with what you have on under your cabinet, looking those up to see if they are green, and anything that you have green, then you want to start with those. Use what you have. Just make sure you have a leave-in, you have some type of oil. Now for oils, since you said that you have low porosity hair, you could use like grapeseed oil. Is a really good sealant. But the cream, it just depends on what your hair like. And if you're unsure of what your hair like, then I recommend you do something that's called the flavor, where you look at the flavor of the week. You look at, after you put those products and you do your hair care regimen that week, how does she feel? How does she look? Does she look dry, or does she look moisturized? What actions did you take? What is your attitude that week towards how she looks? What do you see any visual growth from the things that you did that week? What do you need to omit that may have made her angry? And then what do you revamp from the thing that you omitted? It's called Flavor of the Week. You want to do that every single week to make sure that whatever steps you're taking is helping you. Anything that's not helping you, you want to stop it immediately. And you're not going to know what's helping you if you start doing too many things at one time. So each week you only want to try one thing, and then you want to try to be consistent for a few weeks to make sure that it's effective. So one of the other questions that a lot of people had was, how do they buy my products? So my company is more focused on education instead of just selling the products. So when I first started my company in 2017, I actually didn't plan on starting this hair growth company. I was on my way to being a nurse practitioner. I had like a year left, and I was I had lost my edges, and people saw that it was growing back, and they asked me, you know, like, what are you putting on it? And I was like, oh, I'm just making some stuff at the house. They started asking me to bring it, and I did, and I was just giving it away for free. But then once, you know, I started turning into a company, I just used to sell the oil. And everybody that I had given it to prior to me deciding to sell it all had growth. But then when I started to sell it, half of the people were having growth and half of them were not. And I couldn't figure out why. And what I learned was that the people that were not having the growth, they were not doing techniques that were in promoting growth. They were still doing things that made their hair fall out. And so there are a lot of products out there already that you could buy, and there is no support. So I do not sell the product alone, the Legends Hair Growth Oil in a Bottle, Love in a Bottle. I do not sell it separately. If you book a one-on-one consultation, or if you sign up for the hair growth program, then it comes with the bottle. The program comes with 2 bottles, and the consultation comes with 1. Otherwise, I don't sell it alone because I am more focused on making sure people are successful than just giving you a product and both of us keeping our fingers crossed and hoping and wishing that it works for you. That's just not how it works. And then one of the other things that people said was that the program was really expensive. Right now, it is discounted 50% off at $197, and it's 6 weeks. And if you divide 197 into a daily amount for 6 weeks, I think it equates to about $4 per day. Um, I don't know how to make it any more cost effective, but in June, I do run a Juneteenth special for $18.65. If anybody who wants to try it now that can't afford it, I do run that special in June. And there's also an app called QuadPay where they will give you a virtual card and you can make 4 installment payments to them and break it up that way. If you want to be able to do that. So if you want to find out if a product is green, you go to a website called curlybot.com and you put in those ingredients and it'll let you know if it's green, yellow, or red. Stay away from, sometimes the yellows are okay, but when you're trying to grow your hair back, you really only want green products. You want everything that's growth promoting and healthy. So yeah, no, Rogaine does not. I don't want to talk bad about anybody's product, but I will talk about Rogaine because that's what my dermatologist put me on that made my little spot go from like a quarter size to like the size of my palm, because there was something called dread shed. I have a TikTok video about it, and it makes your hair fall out. And so it was ridiculous and it scared me. And yeah, I do not recommend Rogaine for anybody. Rogaine's ingredient is minoxidil, which is the same as Keranique. Rogaine for men, Rogaine for women. So yeah, it did not grow my hair at all. It made it worse. And I was pretty upset about it. But they told me it was supposed to do that and that it would eventually grow back. But yeah, no, I just did not have any luck whatsoever with that. So the program is discounted until 50 people signed up. Right now, there are I think 40 slots left. And the doors will close this Friday at 11:59 p.m. this Friday. So once I get 50 people, if it happens before this Friday, then doors will close and you'll have to go on the wait list for the next class. The reason why I only allow 50 people to come in is because I like to keep the classes really small and intimate because I want to make sure that nobody gets lost in the sauce. I have a 100% success rate so far, and I want to keep it that way. And so I am sticking to what I know works, and keeping it small and intimate is one of the things that I know work, because I can make sure that everybody is staying with me. Everybody is doing everything. I'm in there every day, making sure you guys understand everything. And I am at your disposal for whatever questions. It's really, when I say it's handheld and step by step, it really is. I go really in depth, and my whole goal with the program is to make sure that you understand exactly why this happened, how not to let it happen again, and how to get your strands growing. I am there for support. The Legends Love in a Bottle is there for support as well, because it's all the nutrients and vitamins that your hair need in order to start producing a new strand. But the goal of that is to get you eventually to start eating healthy and having the nutrients being put into your body enough so that you don't become dependent on my growth product forever and nobody else's, because that is not the goal. A lot of these, like Rogaine, for instance, when I called to complain about the dread shed thing, they were like, well, that's what it's supposed to do, and it alters your growth cycle. I don't want you altering anything within my body. I need something that works with my body, not forces it to do anything, because our body automatically resists that. And so that's kind of, my product is more focused on the hair bulb getting the nutrients it needs to produce the strands, because that's where new strands come from. And so those nutrients will eventually be replaced by diet. And my goal is to teach you guys to fish, not to fish for you, like a lot of these products out there are. So let's see. I do think jojoba is good for hair. I definitely do. Will I say it's good for low porosity or high porosity? You just have to test it. Put it on your hair as your sealant or whatever it is that you are looking for. And then, like I said, do the flavor of the week. In case you missed that, that was look how she feels. How does she feel to you? How does she look to you? What actions did you take that week, making sure that you're keeping up with what you're doing? Do you have any visual growth? What needs to be omitted, or what needs to be revamped? When I moisturize my hair and put a bonnet on, I feel like I'm wasting product. What would you suggest is the best time to condition your hair? So give me a little bit more information. Why do you feel like you're wasting product? Because the bonnet is actually protecting your strands from your pillowcase or your sheet or whatever could absorb the moisture from your hair. And it's not sucking, it should not be sucking your product from your hair. Your hair should actually be absorbing that product. And if you have product sitting on your hair and it's not being absorbed in, that probably means that you have low porosity hair, and it's just sitting on top of your strands, and your hair does not like whatever it is that you're using. Because I have low porosity hair. Besides just doing the strand test in a cup, if you put water on your hair and it beads up and sit on top of your hair, more than likely you have low porosity hair. And so it's going to take some, crunching it in there and manipulating in order to get that product in there. But it should not, when you twist it or you do your braid out and you have like a clunk of white, you're probably just putting too much on there, and just use less. A little bit goes a long way a lot of times. Feel like you could smell the products on your pillow. Oh, okay. But how does your hair look? Because if your hair looks fab, then, you're probably doing something right. As long as your hair is moisturized, is retaining your moisture, I wouldn't necessarily say that you're wasting the product, because you just want to make sure that they're moisturized, because moisturized strands are stronger and strong strands don't fall out. And that's the goal everywhere. Does anybody else on TikTok have any questions? I keep losing my Instagram people. Can scarred follicles be repaired? Okay, so that's kind of tricky, because they say alopecia areata is a scarring type of alopecia. They say that dormant hair follicles. Oh, thank you, Trina from Florida, for purchasing. I look forward to assisting you on your hair growth journey, dear. They say that, oh God, I lost my train of thought. So, they say that when hair follicles are dead, they're scarred, and you're never going to be able to grow any strands in there. So, with that being said, I have had people that I have helped reverse their severe traction alopecia who were told that their hair follicles were dead, that they had scarring alopecia, and they would never be able to grow hair. They had tried the injections. They were on the verge of getting hair transplant, and they were able to grow back hair. I honestly feel like there has not been a lot of investigation into African American women's hair growth to say for certainty something will not be able to grow back. What I can say though, if anybody that has any type of question like scarring or, I did chemo, anyone that I have not worked with, if you go through the entire 6-week program and you do everything that I'm teaching you and you do not have any growth whatsoever at the end of it, I 100% no hassle will give you back every single dime of your money. And you can keep all the products. I am 100% confident that science is not concrete. And I feel like the medical portion of science is forever changing and they are forever learning something new. And I just feel like there has been more effort put into wigs to make us hide our hair loss and look like it's naturally growing out of our head, instead of putting effort and time and education and science behind how we can grow our strands out of our head. Like, I don't hear people talking about shock loss and the trauma to hair follicles, because it's just not something that I just don't feel like it's a priority for a lot of the hair growth industry. I feel like it's a $1 billion industry for us to continue to buy things that don't work and for us to continue to hide it with $400, $500, $300, $200 wigs. So I won't say that for sure that I could help you, but I will say that I have helped others that came with that same complaint. And if you choose to sign up and I am not able to help you, I will give you back your money. I have yet to have to refund anybody any money for not having any growth. So I would say, try. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was your question? I'm sorry. Ask it again. I be getting sidetracked. I'm so sorry. I skipped your question. I'm sorry. Ask me again. Let's see. Okay, so Marshall, yeah, I went over some of the things that you could do, but I'll go over it again. So you want to get the root cause of why you are not having growth, because if you don't figure out what the root cause of your issue is, then more than likely you're going to continue to end back up in the same exact situation. And then you want to make sure your strands are always moisturized, because it's going to make them stronger. You want to make sure that you're using all green products. You want to get proper nutrients inside of your body, because your hair grows by producing the cells regenerating produces new strands, and there's nothing that you can do to manipulate them cells besides giving them the proper nutrients they need. So those nutrients are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, iron, and protein. Because remember, the protein in your hair is called keratin. And if you are like most of my clients that have, hair loss all the way back, then you've been hiding it with a wig. And the sweat has a chemical in it called lactic acid, which destroys the keratin in your strand. And it will, so you need to replace that protein in your strand. Let's see. Let me see if Facebook has any questions. So I don't really like to recommend good moisturizers, but if you inbox me some, because it just says Facebook user, so I don't know what your name is, but if you inbox me, then we can have a little bit of dialogue and I can point you in the right direction of some products that you could use. I don't work with men, but I don't think that men have any time limit on when they could and couldn't wash their hair, because they don't have as much trauma to their follicles as we do, like the blow drying and the hot combs and, flat irons and things like that. What about small spots only on one side? Yeah, so Legends hair growth in the oil. I mean, Legends Love in a Bottle hair growth oil does work on spots only on one side. So if you are suffering with any type of traction alopecia, it will work for you. But if you just have like a really small spot, because a lot of the people I work with, like I said, have like, you know, it's a large area of hair loss. If you just have like a small spot, I would recommend that you actually just wear your hair so that it covers over it. Stop wearing tight styles. Make sure it's moisturized. Do daily scalp massages twice a day if you possibly can, and use strengthening techniques. I do think olive oil works well for low porosity hair as a sealant. My edges were damaged from glue ends. I've been trying to grow them back. What do you recommend? So if you're in a wig, you need to get out of it immediately. Same for you. I would recommend you start doing scalp massages to help wake up your dormant hair follicles that haven't been growing, as well as increase the blood circulation. And start eating healthy nutrients. Strengthening techniques are basically deep conditioning techniques. So it just depends on if you like using DIY deep conditioning treatments or you go to the store and buy an over-the-counter deep conditioning treatment. If you do buy an over-the-counter deep conditioning treatment, make sure you put in a curlybot.com ingredient analyzer and make sure that they are all green. Okay. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay, take a while to answer. I'll message you again. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing the Q&A, because my DM, I have like 1 million DMs that I'm trying to get through, and as well as comments under my TikTok video that went viral. I didn't expect it to go viral. So my website is growmyedges.com, and the 6-week program is at the top, and below that is the 101. The 101 is discounted right now to $47, and it does come with the hair growth oil. And yes, you can ask me something. So I honestly don't recommend shampoos when you are suffering with hair loss, because shampoos actually strip your hair of not only your natural oils, but of everything. I recommend using either ACV or baking soda, depending on your porosity, to cleanse it. But that's only if you have product buildup that you're trying to get rid of. Otherwise, I just recommend cold washing with conditioner. And then doing deep conditioning treatments. You don't want to necessarily strip and make it dry unless you're really good at moisturizing your hair. And if you do the clarifying ACV or baking soda, make sure you do a pre-poo treatment first so that it'll be a little bit stronger. Yes, so to make sure a product is green, you go to curlybot.com and put in the ingredients, and it'll have green, yellow, red at the bottom of it, and you want to make sure that that every ingredient is green. I keep losing the Instagram people. I have to figure out what's going on with them. Somebody else asked me a question. I think that was over on Instagram and I lost them. Alrighty. My website is growmyedges.com. And the hair growth program is the very first button. And then below that is the 101. Okay, Nicole. Welcome, Nicole from Dayton, Ohio. I don't know if you are on here or not, but welcome to the program. I'm so excited to help you on your hair growth journey. I look forward to helping you as much as possible. Alrighty, so if nobody else has any other questions, my website is growmyedges.com. I don't know if you were the same person that just asked again, but it just popped up again. So if nobody else has any questions, I'm going to get ready to sign off. Let me put it in here for you. It's curlybot.com. Yes, curlybot.com. Let's see. So does the rice treatment work? Okay, that is a very good question. Thank you so much for asking that. Amazing eyes. So your using the rice treatment will be dependent upon if you have low porosity hair and if that low porosity hair is protein sensitive. So the rice treatment is actually a protein treatment because there's a lot of starch in it and there's a lot of vitamins and nutrients, but it's really heavy. It's heavy in amino acids and protein. And so if you have low porosity hair and you're doing it often, it's going to make your hair dry, weak, and kind of brittle. And dry, weak, brittle hair falls out. So if you have high porosity hair, it's going to actually fill in the gaps because high porosity hair is like a chain link fence. It's gaped open, water goes straight through and comes straight out. That's why it's really hard for their strands to retain moisture. And so it works well for them and it helps fill in the gaps and then it helps them retain moisture, so it helps their hair grow. If you have low porosity hair, and especially if it's protein sensitive, if you choose to do the rice treatment, you only want to do it once a month. But it does work because it's very high in nutrients. It may not necessarily work to grow a bald spot back because your bald spot isn't growing because you are not waking those cells up to produce a new strand. Rice water or anything else that you put on it isn't going to do that unless it's getting those nutrients under your scalp directly to the base of where your hair follicle would be and produce a new strand, so then you can have a hair follicle to grow. So that's one of the reasons why people are not growing strands, because they don't understand that that's the difference. A lot of people that come into my program are watching all these YouTube videos to try to do these things that these people with these long hair, all the way down their back is doing, but they're trying to retain length and that's working for them. You're trying to grow hair in a bald spot with dormant, basically dead hair follicles that need to be woken up. Not saying dead as in they're never going to grow, but that they're not going to wake up. I do love Mielle products. That's actually a fellow RN who created her own hair care line. So I love her products. My hair don't like her products, but I love her products. My hair it's real finicky and it does not like them, but I do not disagree with her products. And I would recommend for you try it and then do the flavor of the week to see if it works for you. Somebody else had a question. So Black Diamond, like I was explaining a little bit earlier, I don't sell the oil separately outside of education. I'm more focused on teaching people how to never let this happen again and making sure that they're equipped with the knowledge to not only change their current situation, but like I said, going forward, they don't have to depend on my product and nobody else's hair growth product. And if shedding or anything else happens in the future, they're equipped with the knowledge to know how to reverse it, I guess. So yeah, I don't sell it separate for that reason. Let's see. So hair loss from lupus is an inflammatory issue. And so I recommend you getting on an anti-inflammatory diet and seeing if that can help you. Yes, I do offer one-on-one consultations. Excuse me. If you go to my website, growmyedges.com, there's a button for the hair growth program, and right below that is the one for one-on-one consultations. And then it'll take you to a calendar to schedule it. Okay. Alrighty. So does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to get ready to hop off here. I will be going live again tomorrow. Like I said, the program is currently discounted 50% off. We actually just had like 5 signups right now while I was on this live. So it's 50% off until this Friday at 11:59 p.m. or until I get the first 50 signups. I like to keep you're welcome, Black Diamond. I like to keep the classes small so nobody gets lost in the sauce. I'm thinning in from my hair. I wear sister lots. So Sister locks is a different story. They don't like for you to be putting oils on them or anything like that. I have been approached actually quite a bit by people with sister locks. However, though, they normally help your hair grow. Are you going to see a loctician to do your hair, or are you doing them yourself, or is this a licensed person that's doing your loctician? Because normally the locticians they normally grow your hair, so I'm not sure. Lane Kiki, what do you mean? So what hair won't grow back? Give me a little bit more, because I don't know what part you're referring to. Alrighty, so does Facebook or YouTube have any more questions? I lost the Instagram people again. They're probably over there cursing me out. Is it possible to grow if you literally scratch the? Okay, so that is a condition called trichotillomania, I believe is what it's called, where you basically pick at your hair and pull it out. So it is possible for you to grow your hair back, because you yanking it out has created trauma to your hair follicle, which is the same thing as traction alopecia. People who suffer from traction alopecia, the bald spot is difficult to grow back because they've created trauma to that bald spot, which basically is quote unquote scarring. However, it's not scarred to the point to where it won't grow back. It's just scarred to the point to where now it's gone dormant and they're not growing. You have to do things to wake them up. And it's gone through a condition called shock loss, if you've ever heard me talk about it. And it's basically where you have like a large area of hair loss where the trauma area is for a period of 6 to 8 months. And so my product does work on things like that. But when people are suffering with things like that, you have to get therapy and counseling in conjunction with the things that I'm teaching you, so that when you start to grow new hair in that spot, you won't yank the new growth out. I'm not a therapist. We do have some affirmation and speaking life into ourselves, and we write our affirmation on our mirror, and we have a little heart, that we like to carry around, and every time we touch it, we say positive things to ourselves. But that's a little bit deeper. But I do have a therapist. If somebody signs up like that, I do have a therapist because I'm a nurse and I have a lot of social worker friends, and I will invite someone in to discuss, and she could give us some insight and maybe do like a one-on-one session with you. No, so I do believe that the lupus, your hair loss from lupus will grow back, but you have to like cut down the inflammation, because it's causing your follicles basically to reject it as well. That's why you're having that shedding, because it's a inflammatory process throughout your entire body. So it is possible to grow your hair back, but hair growth, whether you have lupus or whether it's just traction alopecia, it's holistic. So everything you do or don't do is either promoting growth or promoting loss. So it is possible to grow your hair back. Yes, you have a loctician. My hair is long, but I have to have thinning areas in the front, I guess is what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even want you to put anything on your, sister locks. But if you get you a let me see if I have this is called a hair lifter, and you could use it for a scalp massage, and the scalp massage will increase your blood circulation. You want good nutrient rich blood going to it though, so you got to be eating healthy, and it will help maybe wake up those dormant follicles to get your hair growing back in those thinning areas maybe. But there's like sometimes little grooves, so make sure you file around it and it doesn't yank your strands out. Oh, it's not purposely being pulled out. Oh, okay, then yes. Yes. Somebody else asked the question. I think I missed it. Let's see. Do you have to keep using Rogaine? Yes. They'll tell you that though. They don't hide that you have to keep using it in order for your hair to grow. They don't hide it at all. It's all over their website. It's on the package. Little disclaimer. I missed it. I just blindly trusted my dermatologist and thought, they knew best. Because I mean, I'm a nurse, and this was a doctor. And yeah, you do have to keep using it in order for you to continue to have growth, because when you stop using it, your hair is going to fall out. It's called dread shed. Look it up. Put in Rogaine dread shed. You will dread it. Should we stop wearing ponytails? Absolutely, especially if they are tight. You should stop wearing ponytails. It's causing trauma on your strands. If you just feel like you just have to, wear it low and loose. So that way it's not having extra tension, on the front of your hair and pulling it out. Alrighty. Sorry, Instagram. You guys keep getting disconnected. Does anybody on Instagram have any questions? Somebody had asked a question. I hope they would come back. It accidentally cut you guys off. I don't know why. But I will upload this recording into the IGTV. It stalled on my question concerning scarred follicles. Oh, okay. So what I said though was that that I have had people sign up for my program who were told that their hair follicles were dead and that they had scarring alopecia and that they would not be able to grow their hair, and they were on the verge of getting hair transplant. They'd already tried the injections and they were able to successfully reverse their hair loss. What I said was that if you sign up for the program and you go through the entire 6 weeks and you're implementing and taking pictures and doing everything and you don't have any growth, I will give you back your money, hassle free, no questions asked, because I'm really trying to help people. I have 100% success rate and I expect that to continue. What's good for hair thinning from thyroid problems? So your thyroid levels need to be good, because in some people it can cause excessive hair growth, and in some it causes hair loss. And so if your levels are good, then you want to focus on you was told all that too, plus it was hereditary. Oh yeah, I can't really do anything about hereditary hair loss, unfortunately. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry, back to the thyroid. So if you're working with your physician and your levels are normal, then you want to use low manipulation hairstyles. You want to make sure they're always moisturized. You want to get in proper nutrients, vitamin A, C, D, protein, and iron, making sure that all those levels are always good, because those are the vitamins that help the cells regenerate new strands. And yeah, scalp massages, daily hair scalp massages using something like a hair lifter. Let's see, I saw a question here on TikTok. It's not shedding, it's bald spots everywhere. Yeah, that's from inflammation. You really look up the I think oh gosh, I can't remember the specific diet. Kiki, if you DM me so that I can remember who you are, DM me that we were talking about the lupus, and I will send you over that anti-inflammatory diet to get you started, because you have to start fixing the root cause, because if you don't fix the root cause, you're going to continue on that journey. What about shedding to one part in the back only? So it depends on where it is in the back. If it's in the crown hair loss is normally a sign of internal imbalance. And so it's either hormone, it's stress, it's vitamin A, C, D, iron. But if it's like where you're laying on, are you a back sleeper? It just depends on, like what's going on. If you don't have my root cause analysis, send me your email and I will send it over. My scalp itches a lot. Do you know why? What products are you using? Have you tried eliminating your products one by one to see if that helps it? So when you are looking at like trying to figure out what's going on with you, you have to do my acronym flavor of the week. And so one of those things would be omit. Each week you need to omit something to see if the itching decreases that week. And if it doesn't, then you know it wasn't that and you can put it back. It just depends on what's going on, you know? And do you have dandruff, or I'm not exactly sure, you know, what could be causing the itching. So my program is 6 weeks. The very first week I go live every single day to make sure everybody gets started. Then there's a free preview week prior to me going live. If you like, let's say you sign up on Friday and the class starts Saturday, you're not going to miss anything because the very first week going live, I am making sure that everybody starts out on the same page. And then every Saturday thereafter, I go live because each week there are new strengthening techniques that we have to implement. So we are first focusing on stopping the shedding of the strands immediately in week 1. Then we're focusing on cleansing the strands. We're focusing on purging the scalp, under scalp nourishment, and then infusing moisture the last 2 weeks. So good hair growth is eating hair that's coming in weekly. If you don't have any hair coming in, then, you know, you're not doing something right. And so you need to revamp for the flavor. With all the bald spots, I've been contemplating just shaving it all off. That actually does wake up hair follicles. If you guys remember, what's her name? Tamar Braxton, a while ago, when she was getting roasted because she took off her wig and around the front part, her edges were really thin. And she shaved her head after that and it grew. And I actually know quite a bit of people who shave their head, and just from shaving their head, it was kind of like starts, like if you were to imagine when you shave your leg, like, you know, that it kind of gets rid of the very top skin layer, even though it doesn't harm you. That's kind of like what shaving your head does. And then so your body recognizes that as, these are awake. We need to pay attention to it. Let's send some blood up there. What's happening? What's going on? And so your hair starts to grow again. A lot of times your hair isn't growing just because your follicles, your cells are dormant and they're not producing new strands. Has dark spots. Is it possible it could be some kind of fungus? Dark spots on African Americans is normally dark spots. Fungus have normally like little bumps and they're itchy, like little ringworms. But there are a lot of natural things you could put on it to decrease the fungus. It would take a while though, but I would recommend you go and see your doc to see if that's actual fungus, because there's no way anybody will be able to tell you over the internet whether or not something is fungus or not. Let's see. I keep freezing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. I know. And then they keep losing me on Instagram. I'm sorry it's freezing. You're welcome. You're so welcome. I'm glad I can help you guys. Is the role of biotin as big as I have read? And if so, should we take it internally or externally? So from my research, biotin is not as big as it seems that it is. And biotin is more for people that are trying to grow their hair longer than trying to grow their hair back. It's just basically B7. And I think people normally take it internally, like in a pill form. Make sure you drink plenty of water because it'll increase your acne. I walked in late, but where do you find out if a product is green or yellow? No problem. So you go to curlybot.com, and she has she doesn't really run the website anymore, but it still works. So she has a little thing below it that will tell you if it's green, red, or yellow. And if you have damaged strands, make sure that you are in the green only. So my website is growmyedges.com. And the very first top pill is my hair growth program, and then below that is the one-on-one, and then below that are all the free materials that I have. Free Facebook group, things of that nature. Alrighty, thank you very much. You're welcome. You recently cut and relaxed my hair to start wearing, went to Razor Chick, and she did a great job. Yeah, I actually think some of her work is amazing. She has helped people be able to get out of their wigs, and the styles are just beautiful. It blows my mind each time I see Razor Chick styles. My hair is since shedding, but I believe it's the trauma of relaxer and color after being under wig for years. Yikes. Did you call Razor Chick after that happened? Because I have actually seen her, because I wondered how it looked, so straight. And I always wondered if people afterwards did have shedding, because when you get a perm, it breaks the bonds of your strands. And so if you already have weak, brittle strands, then I always wondered if it was shedding. But she said that on a video, someone asked her that, and she said that the process that she used, doesn't cause any excessive shedding. So I don't know. I would say reach out to her. She may have something that she could offer you. What do you think of using derma rollers? Ooh, no. So a derma roller is basically a thing that you would roll on your scalp that have like these little points on it that create, it's like sticking little needles in your scalp to basically wake up your follicles. And it's kind of the same. Hey, Rocco. Sorry, it's kind of the same thing that I was saying that like shaving your head does. It wakes up dormant hair follicles, but I do not recommend doing that, because when you do that, you are now creating sores in your head, and those sores could turn into folliculitis, because it's basically an open wound now. You do not want that and hair loss all at the same time. I definitely do not recommend the derma roller. Somebody came into my program with that, and I actually made a YouTube video on it about it. So yeah, no, I don't recommend using that at all. All right, let me go back over to Facebook real quick and YouTube, see if you guys have any questions. All right, so I've been on for about an hour. I hope that all of this information helped you guys. I will be back on again tomorrow. I don't see any more questions coming in. I think it was just my weak hair. I have a beautician I see every 2 weeks. I think we'll be fine once my hair gets stronger. Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely I hope so, because yeah, that's unfortunate. Have you been able to maintain your style since going to see her? Is the beautician that you're seeing able to maintain it, or are you back in your wig? You want to stay out of your wig, because your wig is gonna continue to destroy your strong protein within your strand. Make sure you stay out of it if you possibly can. I know that's easier said than done. All right, I think that's all my questions. All righty, guys. All right, TikTok. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope to see you guys in the program. All right. I wish you the most, girl. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, Instagram and YouTube. I will see you guys later as well. Take care. Yes, follow me. I've been out of my wig. Okay, I will follow you. Let me see. See if I can click on you before I get off. All righty. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.